"You're not half the woman your sister is," Mom said, stabbing her fork into her salmon. The words hung in the air like smoke. I pushed my chair back, the legs scraping against their hardwood floor. "Then she can start covering your rent." Dad's fork clattered against his plate. His face went chalk white. "Rent? What rent?" The silence that followed was so thick you could choke on it. "I'm Nora, and that Sunday dinner 3 weeks ago ended a lie I'd been funding for 6 years. Have you ever realized the people you'd die for would never do the same? Tell me in the comments. I've always been the wrong daughter. The one who chose software engineering over nursing. Who moved to Austin instead of staying in their precious Riverside neighborhood. Who wore jeans to family dinners while my sister Veronica showed up in sundresses and pearls. Veronica was everything they wanted. Pediatric nurse, engaged to a youth pastor, sang in the church choir, baked cookies for every potluck. I was the glitch in their perfect family photo. The daughter they cropped out. But here's what they didn't put in the Christmas cards: I paid their mortgage. Every single month. 6 years of wire transfers, labeled as investment contributions, so Veronica wouldn't know. Because God forbid she found out her perfect life was built on my money. It started small. Mom called during my first year at DataCore Solutions. "Sweetheart, we're having a tough month. Could you help with the water bill?" $200. Then it was the electric. Then the car payment. Then suddenly I was covering everything while they told people Dad's consulting work was going well. The consulting work that ended 4 years ago when his firm downsized. Last month, I got promoted to senior engineer. $80,000 raise. I took myself to Franklin Barbecue, ordered the full brisket platter, and toasted with Shiner Bock to a life I built alone. I posted one photo. Caption: celebrating wins nobody saw coming. Just me, my food, my accomplishment. Veronica commented within minutes, "Must be nice having time for yourself. Some of us are busy serving others." That comment sat in my chest like a stone. I'd served them for 6 years. Served them silently. But service doesn't count when nobody knows about it, right? Sunday dinner was supposed to be a celebration. Veronica's fiancé Trevor had just accepted a position as youth director at a megachurch in Scottsdale. They were moving to Arizona. Planning their dream wedding at sunset in Sedona. Mom had made her famous pot roast, the one she only makes for special occasions. Dad opened a bottle of wine, the expensive kind from their collection that I'd also paid for. Everyone was glowing, passing dishes, laughing at Trevor's stories about the church kids. Then Veronica started talking about their wedding registry. Crate and Barrel. Williams-Sonoma. "We're asking for practical things," she said sweetly. "Nice cookware, good linens. Things that last." Mom reached across the table and squeezed her hand. "You deserve the best. You've always known what matters." Then she looked at me. That look, the one I'd seen my whole life. Disappointment wrapped in a smile. "You could learn something from your sister, Nora. She knows what's important. Family. Faith. Service." She cut another piece of meat. "You're not half the woman your sister is." Something inside me snapped clean in half. I pushed my chair back slowly. The sound echoed through their dining room. "Then she can start covering your rent." The words came out calm, surgical. Years of silence sharpened into a single blade. Dad's face drained of color. "Rent? What rent?" Trevor looked confused, fork halfway to his mouth. Veronica's smile froze, then cracked. "What are you talking about?" I pulled out my phone. Opened my banking app. 6 years of transactions, lined up like dominoes. "I'm talking about the $3,200 I send every month to keep this roof over your heads. I'm talking about the $74,000 I've transferred in the last 2 years alone. The mortgage that was supposed to be paid off when Dad's consulting was going so well." I turned the screen toward Trevor first. His eyes went wide. Then to Veronica. She went pale. "Nora, what are you?" "I'm talking about the utility bills, the property taxes, the homeowner's insurance. The car payments on that Lexus in the driveway." I looked at Mom. "The one you drive to church every Sunday to tell people how blessed you are." Mom's hand flew to her throat. "Nora, stop." "Why?" Because it's embarrassing? Because Trevor's here. I laughed, sharp and bitter. You just told me I'm not half the woman Veronica is. In front of the man who's marrying into our family. So let's be honest about what kind of woman I actually am. Dad tried to stand. Sweetheart, you're upset. Let's talk about this privately. No. We've been private for 6 years. Veronica deserves to know why I can't make it to her engagement parties. Why I haven't taken a vacation since college. Why I live in a studio apartment while she's registering for Le Creuset. Veronica's voice came out small. You've been paying their mortgage? Their entire life, I corrected. Since I was 24 years old. We were going to tell you, Mom said quickly. Eventually. We just didn't want you to worry. Worry. The word exploded out of me. You didn't want me to worry, or you didn't want her to know the truth. That everything you've given her, I paid for. Trevor set down his fork carefully. Mr. Bennett, is this true? Dad's silence was answer enough. The down payment on Veronica's car, I continued, my voice steady now. That gift for nursing school graduation? I sent that money. The cruise you took for your anniversary last year, Mom? My bonus check. Every family dinner Veronica hosts in this house, every holiday, every Sunday roast, I bought the groceries for all of it. Veronica's eyes filled with tears. You're lying. I pulled up the transfer receipts. Showed her the dates, the amounts, the memo lines. Account ending in 4739. That's Dad's savings account. The one that hasn't had his name on a paycheck deposit since 2021. The room went silent except for the grandfather clock ticking in the hallway, the one I'd paid to repair last spring. Trevor pushed his chair back. I think I need some air. Trevor, wait. Veronica reached for him, but he was already heading toward the door. Don't leave, Mom called after him. She turned on me, and suddenly the soft, sweet mother was gone. Look what you've done. You've ruined her special night. I ruined it? My voice climbed. I didn't compare her to me at my own table. I didn't spend 6 years lying to everyone. We were protecting her, Dad said. She doesn't need to know about our financial struggles. No, you were protecting yourselves. From looking weak. From admitting you needed help. From treating me like I actually mattered. My hands were shaking now. Do you know what I gave up? I turned down a position in San Francisco because you said you needed me clothes. I didn't buy a condo because every spare dollar went to keeping your house. I've worked 70-hour weeks and lived on ramen so you could live like nothing changed. Veronica was crying now, mascara running down her cheeks. How could you keep this from me? I wasn't sure who she was asking. Mom stood abruptly. This is exactly why we didn't tell you. You're making everything about you, just like always. Making it about me? I stared at her. You just told me I'm not half the woman my sister is. At dinner. Casually. Like it was a fact. Because you're cold, Mom said. You're selfish. You chose your career over family. I chose my career to save this family. My voice cracked. I chose 70-hour weeks so you wouldn't lose this house. I chose to be alone so Veronica could have everything she wanted. And you repaid me by treating me like I'm broken. Dad stepped toward me. Nobody asked you to do any of that. The words hit like a slap. You're right. You didn't ask. You just took. And I was stupid enough to give. I grabbed my purse from the back of my chair. My hands were steady now, that kind of steady that comes after the storm passes. After you've said everything you needed to say and there's nothing left but the truth hanging in the air like broken glass. Where are you going? Mom's voice had that edge to it, the one that used to make me shrink when I was younger. Not anymore. Anywhere but here. Veronica finally spoke, her voice thick with tears. Nora, please. Can we just talk about this? I turned to her, really looked at her. My baby sister, the golden child, looking at me like I was the one who'd betrayed her. Talk about what, V? About how they've been using me as a bank account while you got to be the princess. About how I've missed vacations, relationships, my whole 20s because I was too busy funding your fairy tale. I didn't know, she said desperately. But you never asked why they had money for your things and not mine. You never wondered why I couldn't come to your birthday trips or why I worked holidays. You just accepted that you were worth more. Her face crumpled. That's not fair. No, I agreed. It's not. None of this is fair. Trevor came back in from the porch, his face set. Veronica, we need to go. Trevor, please. Now. His voice was quiet but firm. He looked at my parents with something close to disgust. This isn't what I signed up for. They left. The door closed with a soft click that sounded like an ending. Mom turned on me immediately. Are you happy now? You've destroyed your sister's engagement. Her fiancé just found out her family are liars. I'd say you destroyed it yourselves. Dad sank into his chair, suddenly looking every one of his 62 years. What do you want from us, Nora? Nothing, I said. And I meant it. I don't want anything anymore. That's the point. So you're just going to abandon us? Mom's voice climbed toward hysteria. After everything we've done for you? I actually laughed at that. Everything you've done for me. That's rich. Name one thing. One thing you've given me in the last 6 years that wasn't criticism. They were silent. That's what I thought. I headed for the door. The transfer for this month already went through. You've got until the 1st of next month to figure out how you're going to cover May. I suggest Dad finds actual work instead of pretending to consult. You can't do this, Mom said. You can't just cut us off. Watch me. We'll lose the house, Dad said quietly. I stopped at the door, my hand on the frame. For a second, I almost caved. Almost felt that familiar pull of guilt, of responsibility, of being the good daughter who fixes everything. Then I remembered Mom's words. You're not half the woman your sister is. Then I guess you should have been nicer to the half that was paying your bills, I said. And I walked out. I sat in my car in their driveway for 10 minutes, shaking. Not from anger anymore. From something deeper. Relief mixed with grief. The kind of grief you feel when you finally admit something died years ago and you've just been dragging the corpse around. My phone started buzzing before I even made it out of their neighborhood. Veronica. Then Mom. Then Dad. Then Veronica again. I declined every call and turned onto the highway toward downtown Austin, toward my cramped studio apartment with its secondhand furniture and empty fridge. I'd been living like a college student at 30 years old, so they could live like everything was fine. That night, I ordered Thai food from my favorite place, the one that's too expensive for my usual budget. Drunken noodles, spring rolls, mango sticky rice. Sat on my apartment floor eating straight from the containers, listening to the silence, and realized something. This was the first meal in 6 years I hadn't calculated the cost of before ordering. The texts started coming around midnight. Veronica, please call me. I need to understand. Mom, your father is having chest pains. I hope you're proud of yourself. Dad, we can work this out. Just come over tomorrow. Veronica, Trevor's not answering my calls. What am I supposed to tell people? I turned off my phone and went to bed. Actually slept through the night for the first time in months. No nightmares about missed payments or disappointed phone calls. Just sleep. Monday morning, I woke up to 47 notifications. I ignored all of them and went to work. My team lead, Keisha, noticed immediately. You look different, she said over coffee in the break room. Different how? Lighter. Like you're not carrying a piano around anymore. I laughed, but it was true. My shoulders didn't hurt. My jaw wasn't clenched. I stopped carrying some things I shouldn't have been carrying. Good for you. She clinked her coffee mug against mine. Life's too short to carry other people's weight. At lunch, I got an email from Veronica. Not a text. An actual email, like we were business associates instead of sisters. Subject, we need to talk. Nora, Trevor called off the wedding. He says he can't marry into a family that lies like this. Mom and Dad are devastated. They're saying they might have to sell the house. Please call me. We're still family, no matter what happened. I read it 3 times. Felt that old guilt trying to crawl back in. Then I closed my laptop and went to Franklin's again. Ordered the same brisket platter. Posted a photo. Caption: sometimes the best thing you can do for yourself is stop doing things for people who don't appreciate you. My boss commented, amen to that. A college friend I hadn't talked to in years, story time. Another former classmate, did something happen? You seem free. I didn't respond to any of them. Just ate my lunch and watched the Austin skyline through the window, golden in the afternoon sun. That evening, my cousin Zara called. She's Dad's niece, the only family member I actually liked. Nora, what the hell happened? You heard. Your mom called my mom crying. Said you abandoned them in their time of need. She paused. But I know your mom. So I'm calling for the real story. I told her everything. 6 years of payments. The dinner. The rent revelation. All of it. When I finished, she was quiet for a long moment. Holy shit. Yeah. You've been paying their mortgage since you were 24? Every month. And they never told Veronica? They told her dad's consulting was going great. Zara let out a low whistle. Nora, I love them, but that's messed up. Like really messed up. I know. What are you going to do? Nothing, I said. I'm going to do absolutely nothing. For the first time in 6 years. You deserve that. Her voice got softer. You know that, right? You deserve to keep your own money. Live your own life. My throat got tight. Thanks, Z. Anytime. And if you need backup when they inevitably show up at your door, call me. I've been wanting to tell Aunt Helen off for years. I laughed, genuinely laughed, for the first time since Sunday. After we hung up, I looked around my studio. Really looked at it. The couch with the tear in the cushion. The dented pot I used for everything. The mattress on the floor because I couldn't afford a bed frame. This was what my sacrifice looked like. This cramped space while they lived in their 4-bedroom house in Riverside with the updated kitchen and the landscaped yard and the Lexus in the driveway. I opened my laptop and started browsing real estate listings. 1-bedroom apartments in nicer neighborhoods. Places with pools and balconies and stainless steel appliances. Places I could actually afford now. The texts kept coming, but I didn't read them. Just let them pile up like a snowdrift I could walk through later. Or never. That night, I slept even better than the night before. 3 weeks passed. The texts slowed to a trickle, then stopped. Mom left one final voicemail that I never listened to. Veronica sent a birthday card to my office with no message inside, just her signature. Dad didn't reach out at all. I found an apartment in Clarksville, one of Austin's older neighborhoods with oak trees and front porches. 1 bedroom, updated kitchen, a balcony overlooking a community garden. I signed the lease the same day I viewed it. Moving day was just me and Zara. She showed up with coffee and breakfast tacos from 1 in a million. To new beginnings, she said, raising her coffee cup. To keeping what's mine, I replied. We worked in comfortable silence, boxing up 6 years of living small. It didn't take long. I didn't own much. But what I did own, I was taking with me. Every book, every poster, every stupid souvenir. Building blocks of a life that was actually mine. You hear from them? Zara asked as we loaded boxes into her truck. No. You? Mom says your parents listed the house. They're moving to a smaller place in Pflugerville. Veronica moved in with them. She shot me a look. Apparently Trevor didn't just call off the wedding. He ended things completely. I felt a pang, sharp and surprising. That wasn't my fault. Nobody said it was. Well, nobody who matters. She heaved another box into the truck. But Aunt Helen is telling everyone you destroyed Veronica's life out of jealousy. Of course she is. You know what though? Uncle Frank isn't backing her up. Zara's voice got quieter. My mom says he told her the truth. About the money. About everything. He's ashamed. Good, I thought. But I didn't say it out loud. The new apartment felt enormous compared to the studio. Sunlight streamed through the windows. The kitchen had counter space. The bathroom had a tub, an actual tub, not just a shower stall. I stood in the middle of the empty living room and breathed. Really breathed. You okay? Zora asked. Yeah, I said. I really am. Work got better too. Without the constant stress of covering 2 households, I had energy for projects I'd been putting off. I volunteered to lead the new client onboarding system redesign. Stayed late because I wanted to, not because I had to pay for someone else's life. Keisha noticed. You're on fire lately. What changed? I stopped putting out other people's fires, I said. She nodded like she understood. Best career advice I ever got, you can't pour from an empty cup. I'd been empty for 6 years. Now I was finally filling back up. That Friday, my team went out for drinks at a bar on 6th Street. I almost never went to these things, always too exhausted or too worried about spending money. But I went. Ordered a proper cocktail instead of the cheapest beer. Laughed at jokes. Stayed out until midnight talking to Chen from the security team about hiking trails around Austin. You should come with us next weekend, he said. We're doing the Barton Creek Greenbelt. I'd like that, I said. And meant it. On the way home, walking past the neon signs and live music spilling out of bars, I realized I felt young. Actually young. Not like an adult masquerading as responsible, not like someone's emergency fund with legs. Just young. 30 years old with a whole life ahead of me. I posted a photo of the Austin skyline from my Uber. Caption, starting over isn't giving up. Sometimes it's the only way to actually start. The comments rolled in. Friends from college, former roommates, people I'd lost touch with because I'd been too busy being everyone's solution. Proud of you. You deserve this. What happened? You seem different. I didn't respond. Just watched the city lights blur past and felt something I hadn't felt in years, possibility. Sunday morning, I woke up in my new bedroom. Sun streaming through the curtains I'd bought yesterday at Target. Not expensive ones, but mine. Chosen because I liked the pattern, not because they were on clearance. I made coffee in my new French press. Sat on my balcony watching the community garden wake up below. Someone was planting tomatoes. Someone else was watering herbs. Normal people doing normal things, not carrying the weight of everyone else's choices. My phone buzzed. A text from an unknown number. Unknown, this is Trevor. I wanted to reach out. I hope that's okay. I stared at the message for a long moment. Then I typed back. Me, it's okay. What's up? Trevor, I wanted to apologize. For not noticing. For being part of the problem. Me, you weren't part of it. You didn't know. Trevor, that's the thing. I should have known. I should have asked questions when things didn't add up. I'm sorry. Me, thank you. That means something. Trevor, Veronica's struggling. But I think she's starting to understand. Your parents, though. Me, I'm not ready to hear about them yet. Trevor, fair. Just wanted you to know, you weren't wrong. What you did took courage. I set down the phone and cried. Not sad tears. Relief tears. Someone saw me. Someone understood. Later, I went grocery shopping. Filled my cart with real food. Salmon, fresh vegetables, good bread, the fancy cheese I always walked past. At checkout, I didn't calculate the total. Didn't panic when it rang up. Just paid and left. In my car, surrounded by bags of food that was just for me, I laughed. Actually laughed at the absurdity of it all. I'd spent 6 years living on instant ramen and canned soup so my family could eat pot roast and drink good wine and drive a Lexus. Never again. 2 months after the dinner, Dad called. I almost didn't answer. Watched his name flash on my screen 3 times before curiosity won. Hello? Nora. His voice sounded older, worn thin. Thank you for picking up. What do you want, Dad? A long pause. To apologize. Really apologize, not the kind I gave you before. I waited. We sold the house, he continued. Moved to a 2-bedroom in Pflugerville last week. Your mother and I are in one room. Veronica's in the other. Okay. It's not okay. Nothing about this is okay. He took a breath. I got a job. Warehouse supervisor at a distribution center off 183. Night shift. Your mother's working at the church office part-time. Good for you. Nora, please. I'm trying to tell you I understand now. What we did to you. What we took. His voice cracked. I'm 62 years old, and I'm working nights because I was too proud to work at all. Because I'd rather let my daughter sacrifice her life than admit I needed help. Something in my chest loosened, just slightly. Dad. No, let me finish. You kept us afloat for 6 years. You gave us dignity we didn't deserve. And we repaid you by treating you like you weren't enough. Like Veronica was the prize and you were just there. I was there paying your bills, I said quietly. You were. And I'm ashamed. He paused. Your mother is too, but she's not ready to say it yet. Pride's a hard thing to swallow. What about Veronica? She's working at the hospital here. Pediatric unit. Moved her wedding registry to a savings account for a future that might not happen. He sighed. She cries a lot. Asks about you. I'm not ready. I know. I'm not asking you to be. I'm just asking you to know that we see you now. Really see you. Not the bank account. Not the disappointment. You. His voice got thick. My daughter who saved our house while we criticized her for not being enough like her sister. I'm so sorry, Nora. I'm so goddamn sorry. I was crying now, silently, tears rolling down my face in my sunny new apartment. I needed to hear that 6 years ago. I know. I needed you to see me before I paid for everything. Before I proved I was worth something. I know, he repeated. And I can't undo that. Can't give you back those years. Can't make myself less of a coward. He paused. But I can tell you that you were right. About all of it. We were using you. We were lying. We were choosing comfort over honesty. And you deserved better. I did. If you never want to talk to me again, I understand. But I wanted you to know, I'm proud of you. Not because of what you gave us. Because of what you finally stopped giving. Because you walked away when we deserved to lose you. His breath hitched. That took more strength than anything. We sat in silence, father and daughter, separated by miles and choices and 6 years of unspoken resentment. I have to go, I finally said. Okay. He hesitated. Can I call again sometime? Maybe. Eventually. That's more than I deserve. Thank you, Nora. I hung up and sat on my couch, crying until the sunset painted my living room gold. Then I made dinner. Real dinner with the salmon I'd bought and the vegetables that weren't on sale. Lit à candle. Poured a glass of wine. Ate alone in my apartment, my sanctuary, my peace. The next week, Veronica texted. Veronica, I heard Dad called you. Can we talk? Me, not yet. Veronica, please. I need to apologize. Me, I'm not ready for apologies. I'm still figuring out who I am without all of you. Veronica, I miss you. Me, I miss who I thought you were. She didn't text back. But 2 days later, a package arrived at my apartment. Inside was a framed photo from when we were kids. Me and Veronica, maybe 7 and 5, making silly faces at the camera. No note. Just the picture. I put it in my closet. Not ready to look at it yet. Maybe someday. Work continued to be good. Great, actually. The client onboarding system launched successfully. I got another raise, smaller this time but still mine to keep. All mine. Chen and I started hiking together most weekends. Barton Creek, Wild Basin, Mount Bonnell. He told me about his family in Houston, his divorce 3 years ago, his daughter who visited every other weekend. I told him about mine carefully, revealing pieces slowly. That's rough, he said after I explained why I didn't talk to my parents. Family stuff always is. Yeah. You seem happy though. Despite it. I am, I realized. Happier than I've been in years. Good, he said simply. And we kept hiking. 6 months after that dinner, Thanksgiving came around. The first one I wouldn't spend with my family. Zara invited me to her place. My mom's doing the whole thing. Turkey, all the sides. She said to tell you you're welcome. More than welcome. Are my parents invited? No. Mom and Aunt Helen aren't speaking. Apparently my mom called her out for lying about you, and it got ugly. Sorry. Don't be. Mom's been wanting to tell her off for 20 years. You just gave her a reason. Zora laughed. She's Team Nora all the way. I went. Met Zora's husband and their 2 kids. Met her mom's new boyfriend, a gentleman who taught history at UT. Sat at a table full of people who asked about my work, my apartment, my life, and never once made me feel like I wasn't enough. Over pumpkin pie, Zora's mom squeezed my hand. I'm glad you're here, sweetie. You deserve to be somewhere you're celebrated. Thank you, Aunt Carmen. And for what it's worth, I'm proud of you. What you did took guts. Later, driving home through Austin's quiet streets, I thought about that word, guts. It had taken guts. To walk away. To stop fixing. To choose myself over the people who'd never chosen me. December brought changes. Chin asked me out properly, not just hiking but dinner. A real date at Uchi on South Lamar. We talked for 3 hours about everything and nothing. He kissed me goodnight outside my apartment, soft and careful, like I was something precious. I really like you, Nora, he said. I really like you too. Whatever happened with your family, whatever you're dealing with, I'm not scared of it. You should be, I said. It's messy. Life's messy. He smiled. But you're worth the mess. We dated through Christmas, New Year's. He met Zara and Keisha. They approved enthusiastically. I met his daughter Lily, a shy 8-year-old who loved dinosaurs and wanted to be a paleontologist. She's great, I told Chin after she went home to her mom's. She liked you too. Asked if you were my girlfriend. What did you say? I said I hoped so. If you wanted to be. I did. God, I really did. Valentine's Day, he took me to Mayfield Park to see the peacocks. We sat by the pond watching them strut and preen. I have something to tell you, he said. My stomach clenched. Okay. My company offered me a position in Seattle. More money, better title. He took my hand. I turned it down. Chun, you shouldn't have. I wanted to. Because I want to be here. With you. Building something. He pulled out a small box. Not a ring box. Something else. Inside was a key. Move in with me, he said. My place is bigger. Better school district for when Lily visits. And I want to wake up next to you every morning. I looked at the key, at him, at the peacock spreading its tail feathers behind us like a blessing. You're sure? Completely. I have a lot of baggage. So do I. Divorced, shared custody, trust issues for days. He grinned. We can unpack together. I moved in 3 weeks later. A real place with 2 bedrooms and a yard and a dog Chin surprised me with, a rescue mutt named Biscuit who slept at the foot of our bed. Our bed. The words still made me giddy. Spring came. I got promoted to team lead. Started mentoring junior engineers. Built things that mattered with people who valued me. April brought an email from Veronica. Subject, no pressure. Nora, I don't expect a response. I just wanted you to know I started therapy. Dr. Rodriguez downtown. She's helping me understand things. About our family. About what happened to you. I'm so sorry. Not just sorry it happened, but sorry I didn't see it. Sorry I took everything you gave without question. Sorry I was so blind to your sacrifice because it made my life easier. You deserved better from all of us. Especially from me. I love you. I miss you. But I understand if you don't want to hear from me. Just wanted you to know I'm trying to be better. Oof. I read it 5 times. Cried a little. Then I typed back. V, thank you. This means something. I'm not ready for regular contact yet. But I'm glad you're getting help. I hope it helps. N. She replied immediately, thank you for responding. That's more than I deserve. Maybe it was. Maybe it wasn't. But it was what I could give. Summer arrived hot and bright. Chun proposed properly this time, ring and everything, on a weekend trip to Port Aransas. We were walking the beach at sunset when he got down on one knee. "I want to build a life with you," he said. "Not perfect. Not easy. Just real. Will you marry me?" "Yes," I said through happy tears. "God, yes." We planned something small. Courthouse ceremony, then dinner at Justine's Brasserie with close friends. Zara would be my witness. Chen's best friend Louise his. Lily would wear her favorite dinosaur dress and carry fake flowers. I thought about inviting my parents. Veronica. Thought about it for weeks, actually. In the end, I sent one email. *Dad, I'm getting married in September.